Good morning. Welcome. So excited to be with you. We'll give everybody just a couple moments to join us. My name is Dave Blanchard. I'm the CEO of the Mandino companies and a partner in the Blanchard Leadership with my very capable son, Paul Blanchard, who is the former director of admissions for the Jack Welch Management Institute Executive MBA program back in Herndon, Virginia. Convinced him 4.5 years ago to join us and to become the president of our company. We have been entrusted with the worldwide rights to Mandino, the greatest salesman in the world, the 10 scrolls, for training and speaking and coaching. We have also been entrusted with the movie rights to the greatest salesman in the world and deep into the scripting process on the feature film script for that movie. We're very excited to be a part of all of this, to be able to be responsible for bringing Mandino into the 21st century. Today, we are going to focus on a very specific scroll, and I think it's so timely. It's important that as we're looking at this, that we realize that business, creating a successful business is not without challenges. I have been pondering this all weekend. I had the privilege this last weekend of having two couples. The husbands of these couples are partners in a very, very successful company, nationwide company. They make tremendous incomes. And we spent the weekend just sharing stories about what it's really like to build a business without divulging any confidences. Just imagine that you're just starting a business and your first client needs to have you install your equipment on a whole bunch of buses. You think they're in San Jose and you can drive to San Jose because you don't have money for anything more than gas for the car. And all of a sudden you find out the day before, it's actually in San Antonio. Oh my goodness. And you have to get a friend to let you use their credit card to buy the plane ticket to get you there. It's a same day ticket. You get there like at midnight. Your wife has been trying to find a hotel for you to stay in. She has it. You get there, you go to check in and you find out that you have to have a valid driver's license to check in. And he had lost his driver's license, had to go through a whole series of interviews to get on an airplane. But he was able to get on an airplane. But in Texas, you cannot rent a hotel room without a valid driver's license. And they wouldn't rent him a hotel, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere. As he said, basically the red light district. There is such a thing. And his phone was dying. So he plugged it into his computer until his computer died. And he kept having conversations with his wife trying to solve the problem. The phone would die. Then he found an outdoor outlet he could plug into and finally found a hotel. It was like 30 miles away, got into a taxi, went to that hotel, and finally, like 3 o'clock in the morning, gets 3 hours of sleep, takes a taxi that drops him off in what is a commercial area. But in the middle of this commercial area, no stores, no gas stations, no convenience stores. In the middle of this area is a tarmac. It's a asphalt parking lot surrounded by a large fence. And here are the buses he's to install his equipment on. He's doing the installation as the owner in the very beginning of the company, obviously. Now imagine San Antonio, summer, 110 degrees, asphalt, no water, no food, no restroom. He starts to get heat stroked, and that upsets his stomach, and the story just gets more bizarre. And interestingly, we are all laughing, not because it's funny, because it's cathartic, it's cleansing, it's reaffirming that every great business owner, everyone, has paid, you might even say, an awful price for success. The secret, and I like to call it the birth canal of business, and no offense to anyone. My sweet wife has given birth to 7 children, and I can't even imagine. But going from the safety of a womb, we might call that the safety of the idea, right? It's comfortable there. We have no obligations. We're fed by an umbilical cord. Everything's wonderful. Then we got to go through this birth canal to come out into the world and then begin to grow. That's true of every business, this birth canal of business. We want things to be quick. We want to be able to visualize them and execute them and make them happen and start to create all kinds of money and have success and have a wonderful life. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. We're looking for an idea in a business that is worth fighting for, that is worth suffering for. Passion is a willingness to suffer for something we love, something that is worth working for. That's why scroll 3 is so critical. And in its placement is number 3. Number 1 is really, you can hear my cold, so forgive me. I'll do my best this morning. Scroll number 1, Og's telling us to study the scrolls and to create new habits. Then scroll 2, he really gets into the meat of greeting this day with love in my heart. And as soon as we are finding love for other people, silently and to myself, I'm saying I love you. It unwrinkles my brow, brings a smile to my lips, and echoes in my voice. And who is there who will not buy my goods when his heart feels my love? He's telling us, and most important of all, I will love myself. For when I do, I will zealously guard what I take into my body and my mind, my soul, and my heart. But next is persistence. Oh my goodness. He starts by telling us that in the Orient, bulls are tested for the fight arena. So critical. Tested for the fight arena. They're not in the fight arena. They're being tested to see if they're worthy of being in the fight arena, which is life and death. They're allowed to attack a picador who pricks them with a lance. And the bravery of each bull is measured by its willingness to attack in spite of the sting of the blade. He goes on, henceforth I will recognize that each day I am tested by life in like manner. If I persist, if I continue to try, that means continue to do, I continue to charge forward, I will succeed. This scroll is so critical. I have great concerns. My orange juice for this morning, my orange vitamins, I should say, vitamin C. I'm very concerned about the next generation because often we're not resilient. And resilient means to leap back up when we get knocked down. Sometimes we struggle to get back up again ourselves. And it's painful and it's uncomfortable. And so sometimes we want to save our children from this discomfort. We want to rob them of the very things that create resilience. And then we send them out into the world and wonder why they have anxiety and overwhelm and discouragement. Let us not rob them. And let us step back for a moment this morning and take a look at this scroll. I'll persist until I succeed. And garner some of the correct principles so that we can take courage. That when we run into a wall, it's not the end. It's just a wall we push through. We break through it. And then we break through the next one. We break through the next one. That everything worthy of us creating is going to have this series of events. Yes, the day can come when you'll sit in a beautiful cabin in Bear Lake and share with friends all of these traumatic moments and laugh because it's cleansing, it's healing, and to know that this is the one thing every successful business person has in common. Yes, every one of them has it in common. They had their first meeting and no one showed up, or one person did. And so they gave their all to that one person. They traveled to another city and one or two people showed up and they still gave their all. And they kept doing it and kept doing it. They persisted and they persisted. Og says the prizes of life are at the end of the journey, not near the beginning. And it was not given me to know how many steps are necessary in order to reach my goal. Failure I may still encounter at the 1,000th step, yet success hides behind the next bend in the road. Never will I know how close it lies unless I turn the corner. Always will I take another step. If that is of no avail, I will take another and yet another. In truth, one step at a time is not too difficult. This weekend, talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual income. Beautiful homes, beautiful lakefront homes, incredible lives, beautiful people, amazing children. But in every case, paying the price to get to this level of life. Now, let's take it to the next step. He says that, okay, I'll take another step. And then he compares this journey to an oak tree and our daily activities to a little hatchet, that each blow may not even cause the tree to tremble or tremor. Yet, if I do this consistently, I can fell any oak tree. Small acts repeated can accomplish any task. What a beautiful concept. So if we're living today in our mind, wanting life to be different, and we're bringing expectation to our daily activity, and we're constantly frustrated, overwhelmed, discouraged by the process, we are missing the point of creation. We're going to want to take that hatchet and just take our hacks at the tree today, knowing that over time, enough of these can fell the tree. We can eat an elephant one bite at a time. We can create a castle one brick at a time. And then he tells us the next piece, that sometimes we're gonna find ourselves in despair. But I'm going to work on, even in despair, I'll toil, I'll keep my eye on the goal above my head. I know why I'm doing this. I'll ignore the obstacles at my feet. Those are my unhealthy habits of thinking. For where dry desert ends, green grass grows. Then he talks about the law of averages. Because so many no's to get to a yes. Sometimes a no can cripple somebody. I don't want to make phone calls, I'll be rejected. Get over it. If you want to create success in your life, you're going to get a lot of no's. It's just part of the deal. Do you want the success or not? And frankly, sometimes at this moment, people choose no. I want to just go back and be average. I just want to go to work and go through the motions and come home and have a bag of pretzels and 2 beers at night. Wow. Next scroll log says, I'm not on this earth by chance. I'm here for a purpose. That purpose is to grow into a mountain, not to shrink into a grain of sand. Henceforth, I'll apply all my efforts to become the highest mountain of all. I'll strain my potential till it cries for mercy. The joy we experience is from taking our lives and creating something magnificent and having this moment of reflection on the price that was paid and the joy that's being experienced. And then comes this powerful comment. I will persist and develop my skills as the mariner develops his by learning to ride out the wrath of each storm. I don't want to be in storms. We could say that the mariner's skill set is honed by the storm. That's where we gain our experience, is in the storm. We should be welcoming the storms. Oh my goodness, I want to grow higher than this. Well, What's the storm I want to experience to learn something new, to hone my skill set so that I can ride out the wrath of the storm? Write it out. Not be fearful. Just navigate. Stay focused. Keep the sail set. All the work that has to be done to make sure that we get through the storm. And then he gives us the last piece. One of the great secrets of success. When my tired body beckons me home. I've got a little bit of that today with this head cold. What am I going to do? I'm going to make one more attempt. Yeah, one more phone call. One more Zoom. One more text message. One more email. One more thing. Then he says this. I'll make one more attempt to close with victory, and if that fails, I'll make another. Never will I allow the day to end with a failure. Thus, and this is a great principle, thus I will plant the seed of tomorrow's success. Plant the seed of tomorrow's success and gain an insurmountable advantage over those who cease their labor at a prescribed time. When others cease their struggle, then mine will begin, and my harvest will be full. If you feel like you're sacrificing, you're probably in the right place. It takes effort. We'll want to persist. We'll want to be resilient, to leap back up. This is part of the journey. And for those of you who have children at home and are worried about robbing your children of you, I want you to think about the possibility of engaging your children in a better understanding of the price you're paying to create. Not to rob them of your time, but to teach them how to persist. Show them the price that's paid. Get them excited about taking on a challenge and then celebrating the victory of having overcome. And then when they're old enough, give them responsibilities in their own life, chores we sometimes call them, opportunities to take on life and to struggle and to sweat. One of my favorite visuals is when we were remodeling 2 historic buildings downtown Salt Lake City. And Paul, who's now the president of this company, was a 13-year-old with curly hair and his 12-year-old sister. And they had been up in the attic of this building with that spray insulation, sealing some of the cracks. And they came out with insulation, that spray insulation that turns your hands black. Black hands. It was in their hair. They came out. It was the most beautiful sight. I knew these two knew how to work. And if they knew how to work, they could do anything. I could drop them out of an airplane with a parachute anywhere in this country, and 6 months later, they'd be doing something, creating something wildly successful. I knew they could. Let us not rob our children either of this opportunity to learn how to become resilient. Let us not shy away from it. This is the stuff that memories are made of. This is what creates appreciation. Oh my goodness, my mind. Gil Gibran wrote the book Prophet. He talks about joy and sorrow. And he says that our joy is equal to how deep our heart has been harrowed out by sorrow. Sometimes these moments, these painful moments are sorrowful, they're painful, they're difficult, but they harrow out our heart and prepare us for incredible levels of joy and equanimity, peace of mind. Do you hunger for success? Do you thirst for happiness and peace of mind? Check in and see. We just want life to be less difficult, easier, more comfortable. Do you shy away from difficult moments and challenges? When it gets rough, do you quit? Make the decision today to persist until you succeed. See the challenge for what it is. One of the greatest gifts you can receive as a human being, to try you, to test your mettle, to burn away the dross and expose the gold. Let us persist until we succeed. Thanks, everybody, for being here this morning. This is such a key to creating success in anything in our life, from a relationship to a business. Blessings to all. May this be the very best day of your life.